You can accomplish many goals by owning a short-term rental in Northern Michigan. Whether you're looking sheerly from an investment standpoint or you'd like to offset the cost of owning a home in Northern Michigan, buying a house as a short-term rental could be a great investment for you. Hi, I'm Geno 𝐷𝐸𝐺𝐵𝐺, a local Northern Michigan real estate expert, helping you invest in real estate in Northern Michigan. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach today to this video. Typically, I'm telling you about an area in Northern Michigan and why it may or may not make sense for you to live there. And today, we're going to talk more about investing in Northern Michigan. Before we get started, I wanted to thank all of you who have been subscribing to my channel. It's helping me grow and allowing me to make even better videos. Today, I'm going to give you 5 things to consider when you're thinking about buying a short-term rental in Northern Michigan, and make sure you stick around because number 5 is the most important. The biggest mistake I see when people are buying short-term rentals are not understanding the local regulations. I get it, you buy a house and you think you should be able to do whatever you want with it. However, there are local regulations that prevent you from renting your house short-term in some areas. The best way to find out if you are able to rent a home short-term is by asking the township what their laws are around short-term rentals. Another question to dig a little bit deeper is asking the local officials if they see anything on the horizon that may prevent short-term rentals. A lot of the townships in Northern Michigan are struggling with how to navigate the whole short-term rental thing to begin with, and a lot of them are trying to put ordinances into place. So I would hate for you to buy a home for a short-term rental that maybe you can short-term rent now, but in a couple of months or a couple of years would be prevented from doing so. On a more micro level, if you're looking at a condo that is in a homeowners association, you're going to want to check with the association to make sure they don't have specific rules around short-term rentals. A lot of places here, such as Boyne, Bay Harbor, or some of the other big resorts, make you go through their rental program, which is fine. It can just be a little bit more expensive and hurt your bottom line. So make sure when you're analyzing where to buy your short-term rental that you know a clear picture of what you will and will not be allowed to do, and even more importantly, what you'll be required to do as far as renting through a specific rental management program. Another mistake I've seen people make is by not doing an analysis on the property. You buy a house, you think you're just going to rent it out and offset your costs and everything's going to be great. And I'm here to tell you that's not always the case. You're going to want to look at this like any other investment and total up what it's going to cost you to own, what the revenue is going to be, and what does your investment return rate look like after that. As I've said in previous videos, there have been a surge in people buying houses for short-term rentals, which also means there's a surge in competitiveness. And with the economy changing a little bit and demand going down, that could affect the overall availability of bookings and people to stay in your short-term rental. Make sure you consult with a local short-term rental management company to give you a lay of the land and do an analysis for you. We happen to have one in-house, 231 Rental Management, that you could reach out to us directly at 231-487-6141. Another thing you're going to want to do, like any business, is make sure you have an effective marketing strategy. Are you on all of the sites like VRBO, Airbnb, HomeAway, and those sort of sites? Are you marketing it yourself on social media? Are you putting on Facebook, Instagram? Do you have a separate brand and a separate online presence for each house? Or are you doing a bunch of houses at the same time? Also, when you're marketing the property, make sure you have great pictures and a great description to set your property apart from those other short-term rentals available. Another mistake I see people make is not caring about the customer experience. People are not coming to Northern Michigan just to stay in a house with 4 walls, a roof, and a bed. They are looking for an incredible experience, which is what brings people to Northern Michigan to begin with. They want to enjoy the summer nights or skiing in the winter. You're going to want to make sure your short-term rental is set up to give them a great experience. That way they will leave you positive reviews and book future stays. Another thing to take into consideration is Airbnb, which is one of the most popular hosting sites, gives an award called Superhost that shows up on your profile that gives people looking to rent a short-term rental confidence that you are a superhost, as the title would suggest. So make sure you qualify for that because it is very important in booking future stays. You also want to make sure you give them clear instructions. Where are the towels? What are the Wi-Fi codes? What are the local amenities? What does anybody need to know to enjoy a great experience at your short-term rental? Make sure that's readily available and that your renters do not have to hunt for it. And as I mentioned before, we're on to number 5, which is my personal favorite, financial planning. Owning a short-term rental is a lot like owning a business. Now, while they are a great investment and can even be passive if you hire the right management company, you're going to want to treat them like an investment, meaning constantly watching your numbers, constantly watching your income and expenses, and making sure that you have an emergency fund for those slow months because if you have a ski house, the summer's probably going to be slow. And if you have a summer house, the winter's probably going to be slow. And you want to make sure you budget for that so you're not caught with a great deficit and paying out of pocket to carry your property through the slow months. Now, I know that short-term rentals are a hot button topic in Northern Michigan, and there are people that are for them and there are people that are against them. I'm just here to give you the option that this is a possibility for a way to own a house in Northern Michigan. With as busy as everybody is, being able to offset the cost by renting it out while you're not there is a great way to justify the rising costs in Northern Michigan. Also, something we didn't talk about today that I'd like to go into further in a future video are the tax benefits of owning a short-term rental. Now, I don't want to go too far down that road because I'm not a licensed accountant and don't plan to be one on TV. So make sure you consult with your local CPA or accountant to find out the exact tax benefits you would reap from owning a short-term rental. If after watching this video, you'd like to learn more about what it would look like to invest in a short-term rental in Northern Michigan, please reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141 and I'd be happy to help.